Welcome to the final episode, just kidding, of Monday Movie Pickup. Alright, so it's been a while. July ended like a week ago, but I still have some Blu-rays that I purchased from the Barnes & Noble 50% off sale that they have for the Criterion collection. And as I said before, I was kind of focusing on getting the Best Picture winners so I could finish up my Best Picture collection, and I had about 4 to go, and I actually found all 4, but quickly I'm just going to go through some other ones I bought. This is Stagecoach, which I had watched recently. It's a great early Western movie made by John Ford. He actually directed Young Mr. Lincoln the same year that this movie came out, and Young Mr. Lincoln's really good as well. There's one falling. But they're both pretty good movies. As far as which one's better, I think I might go towards Young Mr. Lincoln, but I don't know. Stagecoach is also really good, and I've seen Young Mr. Lincoln more, so maybe a rewatch of Stagecoach, and, you know, it will become my favorite. Overall, they're like some of the best John Ford movies, though, and he's made quite a bit. The fact that they came from the same year is crazy. And we have Bringing Up Baby, which this movie did not have a Blu-ray release for many years. I heard there was an issue with the rights, but it was really cool that Criterion announced a new release for the film. This is also a very funny, entertaining movie that long overdue for a Blu-ray release. A lot of great special features on here too. Yeah, I'm curious to watch this to see if they have a new transfer or not. I think the last time I watched this, it was on HBO Max. So I'm assuming that there might be a better. Yeah, it says there's a whole new 4K transfer. So it was about time this movie got cleaned up because it is an older movie, and I'm wondering how many years it went untouched because of whatever the rights issues are. We have All About Eve. I actually owned this movie already, and now we're getting into the Best Picture winners. I've seen this movie before, and it's great. Everyone's right. It's a great movie, worthy of winning the Best Picture. And I wasn't gonna get the Criterion at first. I was gonna just hold off and keep my original release that they did a couple years ago. But I got curious about some of the special features on this, and, you know, I figured since I'm gonna get all the Criterions that are on, you know, most of these Best Pictures are only available through the Criterion collection anyway, but I figured if I'm getting a bunch of Criterion movies simply because they won Best Picture, I might as well get one that I really enjoy on the Criterion collection. I also have The Last Emperor here, which I don't know anything about except it won Best Picture. So I like doing that sometimes. So I like going into movies, you know, blind. And I just will find out. I'm not going to read about it. I'll just go into it. Silence of the Lambs. So this has been a couple years also. I loved this movie the first time I watched it, but it has been a couple years. And I remember finding it very entertaining when I first saw it. I don't know if I would call it quite a horror movie, but, you know, it's got some horrific elements in it. It's definitely more of like a psychological thriller. Well, yeah, I mean, like, the Oscars deemed it that, which, you know, there's a lot of horror movie fans that were mad because it's like, just admit it. You let a horror movie win Best Picture. But in my opinion, I don't know how much this leans on the horror versus the psychological thriller part, but, you know, I feel like Hannibal Lecter became like a horror icon in himself, even being portrayed again in the future by Anthony Hopkins. So, you know, I guess he is one of the popular slasher villains. You know, I guess it is a horror movie. I changed my mind. I don't know. And then I have, this is one of the most unpopular Best Picture winners, Tom Jones, which it actually has 2 cuts of the film. And this is a case where the director's cut that was released in 1989 is actually shorter than the theatrical version. Yeah, the theatrical cut is 128 minutes. The director's cut is 121 minutes. So it's crazy to me that, one, a version of the movie that wasn't the so-called director's cut won Best Picture, but also the fact that the director actually thought there should be less in this movie. That's very rare. I think it's kind of cool, actually. I mean, it makes me curious to see what he felt needed to be cut out, or if he rearranged anything. All I've ever really heard about this, though, is that people say it's not good. You know, maybe I'll be on the end that finds it to be an underrated masterpiece, but I don't know if I can really call it underrated, even if I do like it, because it won Best Picture. Can't really call it underrated then. Alrighty, and then sticking to the Best Picture winners theme, and this is The Greatest Show on Earth. and it comes as a Paramount Presents release, so it's got these really cool slip covers, and then the only special feature on here is the Leonard Maltin special where he's just discussing the film. So some of these Paramount Presents releases are really cool, but some of them have pretty bare minimum special features. But at the same time, you know, there is a whole new transfer of the film. This is the first time it's been on Blu-ray, which at this point I'm kind of shocked that, like, I talked about this in another video on the Daily Cinephile, but I was like, I'm shocked that at this point Paramount is still doing so many Blu-ray releases, but on top of that doing like special editions like this. And you know, it's great to have this as a Best Picture winner, but what makes me more excited is the fact that they released Almost Famous, which, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan in the world of this movie. I like it, but it's not like, I'm definitely not as big of a fan as other people. But what I think is great about this release is that it actually has 2 cuts of the film on it. It has the theatrical cut. The theatrical cut has never been available in the States on Blu-ray. This is the first time. So I'm never a fan of movies doing that, where they release only 1 cut of a film on Blu-ray. I don't like when Star Wars does it. I don't like when comedy movies do it. Tropic Thunder, there's only a director's cut of the film, or the unrated cut of the film, available on Blu-ray. They've never released the theatrical cut on Blu-ray. So I really dig that they did this. Even though, like, the bootleg cut is probably the more popular, I think it's better to just release all the cuts, because, you know, sure, everyone can tell me which is the best version, but how about I watch the versions and judge it for myself? And then we have 12 Years a Slave here, which, one of the more recent Best Picture winners, as I've said before. I'm not too fast to, like, buy all the newer, more recent Best Picture winners, because in a lot of cases, I've seen them before. I don't know when I'll pop them in again, because the other ones, which I haven't seen, I'm more inclined to watch. But some of these, which I saw when they were released, are still pretty recent in memory, so it's like I don't really want to jump on and watch it again, but a time will come eventually. And also, a lot of these recent Best Picture winners are very low price on Amazon, like extremely low price. Now we have some non-Best Picture winners, which, you know, Smokey and the Bandit, maybe this should have won Best Picture. It has a great soundtrack, but this is actually the trilogy set. So I had the first movie on Blu-ray. I had no intention of ever getting the sequels, but then after seeing that they had a pretty low price 3-movie collection online, this is new, like the second and third film have never been released on Blu-ray. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot, but I have no expectations for the next 2 films, and they come on 1 disc, so there's no special features with those, which doesn't surprise me. I'm sure even the people involved in those movies wouldn't know really what to say about them. I've only ever heard that they're not good. But as a fan of the first movie, I guess I got to see the rest, to see where, you know, the Bandit went after, you know, the first movie, to see where they took the story in so many compelling directions, I'm assuming. I just don't... I gotta say, like, the comedy sequel in general is one of the strangest things. Like, just take those funny actors and do a different movie. Don't make a sequel. DreamWorks movies, which Road to El Dorado and Boss Baby. So, like, I have not seen El Dorado in a couple years, and like a lot of DreamWorks movies, Universal has recently been jumping on releasing them all on Blu-ray, so that's great. And I had mentioned in the video that I was trying to get them all now because I had seen that Ants was, like, out of print apparently on Amazon, but I wanted to make sure I had the whole collection, which I'm actually pretty close now. I only need to get a few of the more recent movies that have been released on Blu-ray, which include The Boss Baby, which I saw this in theaters. I didn't need to see the sequel. I'm sure I'll see it someday. Ants actually is now available on Amazon. I saw it pop up again. It'll be available in late August. I actually got a pre-order in, so someone commented that to me on the Daily Cinephile, so thank you for that. I purchased it, and I'll be waiting. And then, last but not least, I have some local films, which both of these I've done reviews of on the channel. They were both made in the Duluth area, Minnesota area. And this first one is Gravedigger Dave's Halfway House. And I saw this movie a year ago. As I said, you can go watch the review online. I actually went and just saw the sequel. They did a premiere of it, a semi-sequel. It's a horror anthology film, whereas this one was as well. This was all done by the same creator, but the sequel was actually comprised of different shorts from all over the world. So very much like an anthology film that they've done. You know, like I've done other anthology films online before, reviews of, like ABCs of Death and Deathcember, which are both, you know, they range from, some of the shorts are great to pretty awful. I gotta say, like, the shorts in the sequel to Gravedigger Dave were much better than those two films. But also, he limited it to 6, which is nice. Like, don't make a movie and include, like, 80 shorts, because it's like, it gets to be a bit much, and you're destined to have some pretty bad ones in there. But the original movie was just an interesting concept. It's definitely a movie that I've never seen anything quite like this, and Keith, the director, was, you know, very nice to give me a DVD for reviewing the film. I was actually meaning to buy it at the time, but it's like not available on Amazon anymore, but now I own it. I said I'm a big fan of owning physical media, but I made the complaint straight to the director himself. Put some special features on your DVD, man. Of course, physical media is pretty much dying. I think I'm the only one in the area that's actually collecting physical media, but give me my commentary, man. And then I have Blind Truth. I actually did a review of this film as well. This was directed by the Buckners, and this is, you know, this also says that there's no special features on here, but again, I just saw Wyatt and Adriana, and they promised me that there is a blooper reel on here, so, you know, good on them. They added some special features. This movie I found to be very enjoyable. I gotta say, like, for being like an indie film, first time indie film, I've seen quite a few. I mean, I went to somewhat film school. I took a couple film classes, so I've seen people's work before, and they're like first movies, and, you know, if anybody knows, like, first movies can always be rough on the technical side, and depending on their writing ability, very rough. But I actually found this movie very enjoyable. You could tell that they really have you know, studied, you know, you could tell they went to film school and they really studied the art and everything. And yeah, it makes me curious to see what will be coming next from them. I used the word curious a lot in this video. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I enjoyed this movie, and I think I'll give it another watch, just to see the Blu-ray quality, to see if it is any different. I mean, the film was all shot digitally, so I can't imagine it would look much different from what it was in Amazon, but, you know, Blu-ray is usually superior, and it doesn't have any of those buffering bugs, so I will be giving it a watch again. And Wyatt himself wanted to know what my thoughts would be a second time around, especially with that twist, so I'll let you know. But that was this week's video. I already have things coming. That's why I had to get this video in before Monday passed, because I already know this week there's even more coming. So this is not the last episode. See you next week. Or 2 weeks from now. I don't know yet. See you later. Thanks for watching the video, and special shout out to Lauren, Anthony, Anna, Kirsten, Spencer, Lucas, Ryan, and Robert for supporting me on Patreon. By joining my Patreon, you can get exclusive blogs and videos, and for just $7, you can get your own monthly movie review. I hope you stick around, cinephile, and have a happy, productive day.